Okay, I am starting to like this show. Not because the show's any good. The show is still a piece of shit and it's still full of stupid, and I'll eventually get to that. But there's something I have to talk about first. This is probably going to be a long video, so bear with me. If I'm just warning you ahead of time. Um, there are there are two unexpected ancillary aspects of this show that I don't. It wasn't intended, obviously, but I love the results, and that is one. It's establishing and it's calling out the bullshit utopian socialistic dream that TNG tried to establish, like with season one, the neutral zone, with talking to that arms dealer. I can't remember his name, right? And Time Zero with Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, same pen name. Uh, wasn't it season five? Season five? It was a season ender. I can't remember if it was season four. Again, I didn't really watch that much. I'm not that much of a Star Trek fanatic, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I can probably go online, but it's not worth it. Anyway, it's the one. It was Time Zero, I think, and espousing the bullshit future utopia of Earth, like racism was eliminated, poverty. There's nobody collect no, nobody. The need for things is gone. It's all about bettering. What's the challenge? It's all about bettering yourself, and these are key because since the neutral zone was done in season one, it helped establish the tone of what Starfleet was like and what Star Trek was like and what the themes of TNG was like. And that's one of the reasons I hated TNG, was because of such a bullshit utopian ideal that just couldn't possibly exist, right? And this show is actually is showing the bullshit aspect of that ideal, that in space, when you don't actually have to deal with that type of situation, or have to confront with that, you can just simply go, oh yeah, back on Earth, it's all gone, it's all dealt with. Well, how does it work? Oh, we don't have to explain it, because when they did that episode, they never expected that they would actually have to go back to Earth and actually show how it would work. It was just a bullshit ideal. But with Picard, they're now on Earth. They now have to deal with the reality of that bullshit ideal that can't possibly exist. The other aspect, like I'll give you an example, okay? Picard, I can't remember you were talking to I think it was an arms dealer, right? And the arms dealer goes, well, what's the challenge? And Picard says, to better yourself, right? That's the challenge, okay? So in the show Picard, he's been retired for 10 years. What's he been doing to better himself? Oh shit, no he hasn't. When you actually have to establish reality, it doesn't work. Jean-Luc Picard is doing nothing to better himself, okay? Going on this mission the mission of this show has nothing to do with bettering themselves. There's nothing for him to do, because again, Picard's perfect. Why? How can he possibly better himself? He's already the morally superior. He's already the moralistically superior individual of Starfleet and of the Earth, that he can't better himself. No need for things. I should have probably covered this in the first episode, because like, he's got a goddamn mansion, you morons. Oh, but it was inherited. Yeah, okay, fine. But there is no need for things. So why is he keeping it? If the mentality of the need for things is gone, even though it was inherited, there's no reason for him to keep it. It means nothing to him. There should be no family sentimentality. It's things that he has no need for. And then you got people working on his vineyard. Why are people working in his vineyard? There's no money. There's no poverty. There's no need to work. So why are people working on his vineyard? Oh, because when you actually get to the point of actually having a vineyard, you actually need people working on it. But in space, when you don't have to worry about it, oh yeah, I love it. And people are butthurt over how this show is showing how that bullshit utopian future in TNG is absolute bullshit. Then we have the thing with Picard, okay? How they hate how this show treats Picard. When he talks to when he goes to Admiral Kirsten, right? And goes and gives her, okay. So, you have I'm actually watching this show, Picard, so I can watch the butthurt TNG fanboys establish how hypocritically full of shit they all are for hating this show. I'll give you a perfect example, okay? You have Star Trek fans, TNG fans, who hate Picard, and they're talking about and they're establishing how the whole Zhat Vash Romulan super secret police, how that whole plot line is stupid, how they came up with that, how they was able to come to that conclusion, how everything about the Zhat Vash plot line is stupid. They are pointing out in their videos how stupid the Zhat Vash plot line is. Okay? Jean-Luc Picard goes to Admiral Kirsten and gives her and explains to her this stupid ass conclusion with no proof, no evidence, okay? And then demands, I want a ship and I want to be able to investigate this. And she says, like fucking hubris, right? And the TNG fans and Picard fan and Jean-Luc Picard fans are offended. How dare she talk to Jean-Luc Picard like that? Don't you know who Jean-Luc Picard is? Wait a minute. These same fans who are establishing how full of shit this Zhat Vash plan is, when Picard goes to the Admiral Kirsten and explains and goes, here's the stupid ass plan, when she calls him out, they're offended that a Starfleet commander or admiral, that somebody in Starfleet actually called out. Admiral Kirsten calls out the stupidity of Jean-Luc's conclusion, plan, and whole plot. And the fans are offended that they did. But you just established it's a stupid ass plan. It's like, why are you allowed to establish it's a stupid ass plan, but somebody in Starfleet or in the show isn't allowed to call out Picard and going, this is a stupid ass plan? When Kristen had said, what hubris, all of you TNG fans, all of you Jean-Luc Picard fans should have gone, well, yeah, that makes sense. Where does Jean-Luc Picard get, considering how stupid this show is and how bad it is, why would Jean-Luc Picard go to Admiral Kirsten with this nothing plan and then demand a ship and a crew? Yes, it is fucking hubris. But you're all offended at the fact that he got called out in the show for the same thing you're calling the show out on. You guys are such Jean-Luc Picard fanboys. You're too stupid to actually agree with the show when the show is agreeing with you. Oh, and you have this other thing. Okay, this will probably be the last one, I promise. the Romulan housekeeper. You have so many people always pointing out about why is the female Romulan housekeeper Irish? They're constantly pointing out about how she's Irish. You want to know what they never point out? You want to know what they never talk about? They never establish about, well, why is she a housekeeper? Like, why is the other Romulan a cook? Why does Picard have them as a housekeeper and a cook? Do they work for him? Are they his servants? Like, why are they working for him? They owe him his life. Oh, like let's go along the lines. They owe him his life. So why are they like? So what? They're Romulans are gonna repay his saving them to be his servants? Doesn't work that way. So why does he have a housekeeper and he has a chef or a cook? And if they don't work for him, can they leave anytime they want? But he's got a giant mansion. So wouldn't he need a housekeeper to help keep the house clean? The manor or the chateau. I think it's the chateau. Wouldn't he need people to keep the chateau clean and tidy? He doesn't have any androids doing it. So who's keeping his house clean? He's not hiring anybody because he can't pay them. So what I'm trying to say is the TNG fans who are calling out the fact that it's an Irish Romulan aren't calling out the fact that she's a housekeeper and he's a cook, because if you acknowledge that, if you reference that, if you call it out, you end up calling out the fact that the whole bullshit utopian ideal of there's no poverty, there's no money, there's no work, there's no... You can't even acknowledge that, because then it calls out the bullshit of the utopian ideal. Because there's nobody... Why is anybody work... Okay, one more thing. To even reinforce that, at the beginning of the episode, you have the shipyards. And you have those people working on the shipyards that... Like, why? Like, why are they... Like, everybody's complaining about how they're swearing and how they're talking like they're not in the future or whatever. Why aren't they acknowledging why are they working there? Because they can start when you're on the Enterprise, when you're on a starship, that's different. You're part of Starfleet. Okay? You're being given a command, you're given a position. Okay? You're part of Starfleet. These are civilians. Okay? How it works in Starfleet doesn't work the same way as civilians. Okay? So are these people being told that they have to work in the shipyards? What if they don't want that position? Are they being forced to work in that position? Well, then wouldn't that make them slave labor? Are they working for free? Wouldn't that make them slave labor? The reason I'm bringing these up is because all the TNG fans who are bitching about this show aren't acknowledging those aspects of this show, because if they did, it would reveal the bullshit utopian ideal that they consider to be Star Trek. Okay? That's why I like this show. Because it exposes the hypocritical bullshit of of Star Trek fans who base the fact that Star Trek is all about the ideals that are in TNG, but they can't acknowledge the bullshit of it. Anyway, that's enough ragging on TNG fans. I had to get that out because that's why I love this episode, and I'm sure that this show is going to be doing it again and again, and TNG fans who hate the Picard show are going to reveal how full of shit they are again and again. Okay, so episode 2 of Picard. Now that my system is clear, whatever. The overall problem, okay, with this episode and this show in general, or that was very prominent in this episode, is the justification for the plot is so weak. Like, there's hardly, like, This episode was a combination of boring and bullshit. Like, the whole Jat Vas. Okay, this is incredibly convoluted, so bear with me. So, the housekeeper, okay, goes that the Jat Vas is possibly a myth and a secret organization within the Tal Shiar, which is also the secret police. Okay? Now, based solely on whispers that she's heard and she has reason and believe. Here's how she has reason to believe. Okay? When she was a recruit, her handler, the cook's mother, right, got drunk and let slip that at the heart of the Jat Vas mission is a loathing of something. Well, okay. How did her recruiter know what the goddamn mission of the Jat Vas was? Like, how did the person who told the housekeeper know what the Jat Vas mission was? Was the cook's mother part of the Jat Vas? And how well can they keep a secret when they get that if all they're gonna do is get drunk and will reveal it? Oh, and to make it even better, right? It's to keep a secret so profound and terrible that just learning about it can break someone's mind. And then Picard goes, so what is it? And she knows this. Not only does she not know the secret, and not only is this secret, they hate androids. Like, how would that information in any way, it obviously doesn't break anybody's minds. It doesn't break the housekeeper's mind. It doesn't break Picard's mind. So what was all that bullshit about? It's so profound and terrible. And this is so ridiculous. How was anybody expected to take this show seriously? And then we have them sweeping the apartment. I can't even begin to know where to start on the absolute bullshit of not only what they did with that scanning and that little device and somehow creating a holographic scene of a past event. Like, I couldn't even understand. I couldn't even follow the techno babble shit that they were even. I tried to go back to try to follow it, to try and tear it apart, but it was like, it's not even worth it. It's such bullshit. Like, I thought the whole, I think it was Iron Man 2, where he was able to get the holographic, the computer to recreate the image of the blast at the Chinese restaurant where, Happy was injured. Like, I thought that was bullshit. This scene, in regards to them being able to recreate that image, like, and then it's like it's wiped clean, right? It's wiped clean. They scrubbed it, and I'm not even gonna get into how goddamn stupid it was on them trying to explain how they were, because they were just spouting off just because the writers had no goddamn clue how to justify it or explain it. Even if the writers knew Star Trek, I'll bet, because let me put it this way: you could have somebody who is a goddamn expert on Trek lore, science, and how it works. You could have somebody who knows everything about Trek and how everything works, and even they couldn't come up with what happened in that scene. Okay? So if a person who actually knows about Star Trek and knows about the science and knows about how everything works couldn't come up with an explanation on how it could work, how are these writers who know less about Star Trek than I do, how are they going to come up with it? They can't. So they came up with all these stupid ass words to just spew out, and it's like, it's Star Trek. We don't have to explain it because we don't know how. But then they go to that little, so everything is scrubbed clean, right? And then they go to that little bar thing. Like, it looked like a ruler or like a nameplate thing. I guess it's supposed to be a computer, I guess. I don't know. But then they go and they get the calls or whatever. And I'm going, well, they have communicators. I know Starfleet personnel have communicators, but that's to go through the ship's computers to be able to communicate to everybody. It's a little shortcut. I get that. But do they not have phones? Does Apple not exist in the future? That there's no cell phones in the future that you would be? Not only that, okay. Like, the girl, Agnes, ends up going to Picard and can find out her history was created like 3 years ago, right? Well, in episode 1, she has a mother. Now, it's all, again, we don't know if it's a fake mother or if it's a real mother, but wouldn't Picard, if they're trying to investigate the girl, I can't remember her name, I don't even care anymore. Wouldn't they go to investigate and mention the mother? Where she came from? Where she lived before she lived? Like they literally do zero attempt at any type of actual investigation. Because even when that Dr. Agnes, I forget her last name, gives Picard the information, he never looks at any of it. He never checks to see any of it. It's just like an excuse for her to... and then we have the fact that, okay, so the Zod Voss knew about Daj. I think that was the girl's name, right? They knew about Daj, okay? But they don't know she has a twin? Like, that's goddamn frickin' convenient. And that the twin is on the Borg cube, the artifact. Like, well, wait a minute. Do they know that she's the twin? Or do they not know she's the twin? And if they don't know she's the twin, how do they not know she's the twin? Because if the lover, I guess, the Romulan guy that's sleeping with her and his sister, if they're part of the Jacques Voss, then she's there. I thought you wanted to interrogate androids. I thought you wanted to interrogate them to find out if there's any more. But so I don't know what this show is even trying to establish in the show, because it doesn't make any sense. And then we have the commander, okay, I can't remember the names. It's the guy who's sleeping with the twin sister, okay? His sister works for that I thought that was a Romulan that was talking to Commander Kristen, right? And then commands the sister to who's, right? And I ended up checking out. She's supposed to be impersonating a Vulcan, but I literally don't. It's hard to call out the stupid of this show because I literally don't even know what this show is doing to be able to call out the stupid of the show. Because so you have a Jat Vaz agent who's like in Starfleet, but why? I can understand if the Tal Shiar infiltrated Starfleet and wanted to get, but why would the Zhat Vash? The Zhat Vash's purpose is to destroy androids, except they never had that story plot ever. Like, they literally pulled this "they hate androids" out of their ass plot out of their ass. And if that's the case, wouldn't the Zhat Vaz have a problem with them, with the Romulans in the artifact experimenting and examining? Like, because the housekeeper goes, did you not notice how we don't even study cybernetics? Well, if you're not studying cybernetics, if the Romulans have no interest in androids or cybernetics, then why do they give a rat's ass about everything that's in the artifact? It's not like they're not doing weapons research. They're doing the Borg. They're doing Borg research. They're doing cybernetic research. So I'm sorry I'm going all over the place. It's just that I keep thinking of other stupid, and it just links on. You got that the new recruit talking to the twin, right? And you have that one Romulan doing that little speech, right? And you see everything is safe. Don't worry about it. No problem. But you see Romulans with blasters or whatever, and it's like, well, why are there Romulans with weapons if this is supposed to be safe? Like at least point it out, going, that's odd. What? Well, apparently we're safe. There's no problems. They won't be reanimated. Yeah. Well, why are there Romulans with guns? Oh, just in case, they get reanimated and they. I do like that there's a sign. Oh, where is it? It says, this faculty has gone without assimilation for 5,843 days. I thought that was really good. That was funny. I didn't know Romulans had a sense of humor. I don't know if it was but I like that part. Oh, and then we have, okay, this is going to be a little convoluted because because the show is so off the rails and I don't know what they're doing, I don't know if I can trash the show for this or not. It's when Picard goes to Admiral Kristen, right, and appeals for his case on wanting to be reinstated into Starfleet and get a ship and a crew and stuff. He goes, and if there is a chance that some part of him, referring to Data, still exists, then I think we have an obligation to investigate. Okay, this kind of threw me off because, one, no, you don't. Starfleet does not have any obligation to investigate this because you have no proof that is the case. And even if you did, they have no reason to do this. And I don't know, because then Admiral Kristen goes against, challenges. So I don't know if this is the show trying to establish this bullshit weak-ass justification that should have worked but didn't, because I don't know if Admiral Kristen is challenging that bullshit weak ass argument, or if she's refusing Picard because of the interview and he doesn't deserve a ship after what happened, and then he goes, you already made a mistake, or you've already regretted ignoring me once, which never happened. Nothing of what happened was because they ignored you. You were. I don't understand if this show is because the show is both reinforcing the morally superior aspect of Picard, but then at the same time also has examples of calling it out. Because later on, like near the end of the episode, when he's talking to the housekeeper about the justification on how he wants to, why he has to do all this, because the Romulans are going to kill her twin sister, and he has to do this. That's also a weak ass justification for the plot of this show. But then the housekeeper, because then the housekeeper goes, he can't go at all, he's only safe here. Picard goes, nevertheless, I have to go. The housekeeper goes, go where? Picard goes, I will get a ship and find Maddox wherever it is. This is Picard. This is Captain Picard, who has no goddamn clue what he's doing, and he's gonna go on a mission. How do Star Trek fans, how do TNG fans not call out this bullshit? Why? Because they're used to this bullshit. Anyway. So then Picard goes, I have to do this. I don't fully understand all of it, but I know it's important. This is weak-ass writing. So again, this is why I'm going, this is weak-ass writing. But then, here's the key part. The housekeeper then goes, oh, of course, if it's important to Picard, it must be important to the whole galaxy. So is the show calling out the actual bullshit hubris of Picard? Or is the show, like this show is constantly contradicting and going back and forth in whether or not you're supposed to accept Jean-Luc Picard's moralistically superior hubris, but then at the same time, the show calls it out. And Picard doesn't even respond to that. Like, when she literally calls him out, it's just like over his head, goes to the cook and starts talking like it's okay. This show is a serious mindfuck. For anybody that actually has an intelligence quotient, an IQ of triple digits, this show is a mindfuck beyond anything. This show is, it's weird. Was there anything else? Hold on. Oh, okay. At the end of the episode, when Picard goes to the girl at the trailer, I can bitch about the poverty, how does that work, and the TNG. I'm not going to bother with that, okay? So, the girl says to Picard, get lost, there's nothing you could say that could make me help you or want to talk to you. And then Picard goes, secret Romulan assassins are operating on Earth. Okay, the level of stupid on this is multifold. One, okay, no they're not. Okay? Even if he accepts the fact that the Zhat Vash actually exists because the show needs him to, as far as he knows, they only came, or they only operated on Earth because all they care about are androids. That's it. So the only reason the Zhat Vash assassins even were on Earth was to kill the girl. I can't remember her name, and I'm not even looking it up. Well, that's done. They did that. Which means they're no longer operating on Earth. Because Picard ends up finding out through that stupid computer thing with the phone messages, how that worked, that the sister is off-world. So no, there aren't secret Romulan assassins operating on Earth. But even if there were, you need a ship and a crew to go off-world to go find the sister. So you're going, there's secret Romulan assassins operating on Earth, but we're not going to deal with them anyway. We're going to go up in space and find the sister, the twin sister. So the fact that you said that there's secret Romulan assassins operating on Earth, even if you accept that, you're still ignoring that because you're leaving Earth. Like, what is going on with this show? This is ridiculous. Anyway, there's probably more, but I probably went way past the limit of what I want this video to be. Because there's just so much absolute bullshit. It's scary. It's goddamn scary, this show. It's also fun to watch, and it's also fun to make fun of, and I also get to make fun of TNG fans and their bullshit, but, you know. So, yeah, I am definitely hooked on the level of goddamn insane level of stupid of this show. Because I have no idea what they're doing, and this show has no idea what they're doing. But, anyway, that's it for me. Sorry, I keep rambling, but anyway, I'm out of here. See ya. See ya in episode 4, or episode 3, sorry.